Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful one out there. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today, we're going to listen to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. We're going to listen to this track, O'Malley's Bar. This is off of the album Murder Ballads, which was released in 1996, his 9th studio album. We're listening to this track because it was suggested and sponsored by Andreas. So Andreas, thank you so much for the recommendation. I appreciate that. This track, the album, I have noticed in the comments that it had been recommended as well, this particular album, but this track had also been suggested, or at least mentioned, by Mr. Wondrous, David Heiser, James Paiva Paiva, Drumming Vulture, and Paulo Renato, and Big McLean. So thank you guys as well for the suggestion on this one. 14 minutes clocking in on this track from Mr. Cave. I'm very curious to hear the journey, to hear where it goes, where it ends, where it begins, and everything in between. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. We'll discuss it a little bit after. Here we go. A little staticky there.
I am tall and I am thin, of an enviable height, and I've been known to be quite handsome in a certain angle and a certain light. Well, I entered into O'Malley's, said, O'Malley, I have a thirst. O'Malley merely smiled at me, said you wouldn't be the first. I knocked on the bar and pointed to a bottle on the shelf. And as O'Malley poured me out a drink, I sniffed and crossed myself. My hand decided that the time was nigh, and for a moment it slipped from view.
May as well.
Oh, when it returned, it fairly burned with confidence new. Oh, the thunder from my steely fist made all the glasses jangle. Oh,
Jingle,
when I
jangle.
shot him, I was so handsome. It was the light, it was the anger.
Okay. There's a lot of lyrics, so I figured I'd pull you guys up for this one.
Neighbors, I cried, friends, I screamed, I banged my fists upon the bar. I bear no grudge against you, and my dick felt long and hard.
Okay.
I am the man for which no God waits, but for which the whole world yearns. And I'm marked by darkness and by blood and by 1,000 powder burns. Well, you know those fish with the swollen lips that clean the ocean floors. When I looked at poor old O'Malley's wife, well, that's exactly what I saw.
Okay, it's a little rude.
Well, I jammed the barrel under her chin, and her face looked raw and vicious. Her head, it landed in the sink with all the dirty dishes. And her daughter, Siobhan, I pulled beers from dusk till dawn. Amongst the town folks, she was a bit of a joke, but she pulled the best beer in town. When I swooped magnificent upon her, she sat shivering in her grief, like the Madonna painted on the church house wall in whale's blood and banana leaves. Her throat crumbled in my hands, and I spun heroically around.
It's just killing everybody.
Caffrey
Okay.
rising from his seat, I shot that motherfucker down.
Okay, so it's living up to the name of the album. That's for sure. I like those little demented riffies here.
I have no free will, I sang, and I flew about the murder. Mrs. Richard Holmes, she screamed, you really should have heard her. Well, I sang and I laughed, I held and I wept, I painted like a pup. I blew a hole in Mrs. Richard Holmes, and her husband stupidly stood
Okay.
as he screamed, you are an evil man. And I paused a while to wonder, if I have no free will, then how can I be morally culpable? I wonder. I shot Richard Holmes in the stomach. Gingerly he sat down, and he whispered weirdly, no offensive, and lay upon the ground. None taken, I replied to him.
Okay, a little
to
conversation.
which he gave a little cough, and with blazing wings I neatly aimed, blew his head completely.
Okay, last words. No offense.
I've lived in this town for 30 years. To no one I am a stranger. And I put new bullets in my gun, a chamber upon chamber. And I turned my gun on the bird like Mr. Brooks. I thought of St. Francis and his sparrows. And as I shot down the youthful Richardson, it was Sebastian I thought of, and his arrows.
Is that the saint that was like shot with a bunch of arrows? I know it says it there, but if I remember correctly. I mean, like I said, it's definitely living up to the Murder Ballad album title. That's for sure. That is what this is.
I said I want to introduce myself,
Yeah,
and I'm
change.
glad that you all came. And I leapt up on the bar, and then I shouted out my name. Well, Jerry Bellows, he hugged his stool, closed his eyes and shrugged and laughed. And with an ashtray big as a fucking really big brick, I split his skull in half. His blood spilled across the bar like a steaming scarlet brook. And then a note there at its edge on the counter wiped my tears away and looked. Well, the light in there, it was blinding, full of God and ghosts and truth. And I smiled at Henry Davenport, who made no attempt to move. Well, from the position I was standing, the strangest thing I ever saw, the bullet entered through the top of his chest and blew his bowels out on the floor. And I floated down the counter, showing no remorse. I shot a hole in Kathleen Carpenter, recently divorced.
Like he knows them, but they don't know him.
Remorse I had, it clung to everything. From the raven hair upon my head to the feathers on my wing. They must squeeze my hand and it's frozen. and claw with its golden hairless chest. And I glided through the bodies
Piano's strong here.
and killed the fat man Vincent West, who sat quietly in his chair, a man become a child. And I raised the gun up to his head, executioner style. He made no attempt to resist, so fat and dull and lazy. Did you know that I live in your street? I said, and he looked at me like I was crazy.
A little bit, yes.
Said I had no idea, and he grew as quiet as a mouse. While the roar of the pistol when it went off, and he blew the hat right off the hat.
I think our protagonist just wants to be recognized. That's what I'm getting. He has this almost drunken, demented kind of ripping vocals here. He's clearing his throat.
Well, I caught my eye in a
That
mirror.
beautiful piano console.
Gave it a long and loving inspection. There stands some kind of man, I roared, and there did in the reflection. My hair combed back like a raven's wing, and my muscles hard and tight. And curling from the business end of my gun was a query mark of cordite. Well, I spun to the left, I spun to the right, I spun to the left again. Fear me, fear me, fear me, but no one did, 'cause they were dead.
I'm curious, like, about if there's any symbolism behind all this, or if it really is just a murder moment. But I think he just wants to be recognized and known, and as he says, feared, if not loved, basically.
And then there were the police sirens wailing, and then a bullhorn squelched and blared. Drop your weapons and come out with your hands held in the air. Well, I checked the chamber of my gun, so I had one final bullet left. My hand, it looked almost human as I raised it bravely to my head. Drop your weapon and come on out. Keep your hands above your head. I had one long, hard think about dying and did exactly what they said. There must have been 50 cops out there in a circle around O'Malley's bar. Don't shoot, I cried, I'm a man unarmed. So they put me in a car, and they sped me away from that terrible scene. And I glanced out the window, saw O'Malley's bar, saw the cops in the cars, and I started counting on my fingers.
That's a riff. Play guys back. let's discuss O'Malley's Bar. Okay, I pulled you guys up on the screen because there's so many lyrics and there was definitely a story happening, so it just made sense for you guys to be able to follow it along with me because I'm not going to read all the lyrics there. I don't think it's really necessary, to be honest. Here's what I gather from the story. Man walks in, kills a bunch of people, as we read, in quite detailed ways. I think that at the heart of it, when you're looking at the lyrics, I think that he just wanted to be known. He wanted to be recognized, and I think there's a quote, but I can't remember how exactly it said. But basically, if they won't love me, if the people won't love me, then at least they'll fear me, and that's I think what it comes down to here. Because at certain points, he questions some of the different guests there, some of the patrons at the bar of O'Malley's, and he says like, "Did you know I lived in the same neighborhood as you?" And they're like, "Oh no, I didn't know." And then that's it. And then he just ends them, or things like that. And so I think that's what it comes down to. He's an isolated soul that decided to take his anger out on people there. And why the bar specifically? It makes me think of Cheers. And what was the famous phrase, like, where everyone knows your name? Like, that's the place where everybody gathers, everyone, all friends, family, neighbors, and such. And so he gathers at that communal drinking spot, that communal watering hole, so to speak. And that's where he decides to kind of take out his frustrations, where friends, neighbors, as he mentions even in the song, would be gathered. Where at least, like, you would think, or he would think that one person would know him, but no one did. And so everyone's gone. Then at the end, I was trying to figure out the why is he counting on his fingers here at the end? And the only thing that I can think of, I could be wrong. The only thing I think of is when the police are arriving, he's checking the chambers of his gun. He says he has one final bullet left, which this could also just mess up what I was about to say. I was going to say that maybe he miscounted how many bullets he had, because he says 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe, because I'm assuming his gun probably holds 6 bullets. I think that's like a revolver, right? I don't know guns. Maybe he miscounted and he maybe had 2 bullets left over. And maybe he's frustrated because he's like, I could have taken one cop out or something like that. Like, I could have done one more thing, or I don't know. Maybe not. But at the end, he doesn't take himself out. So I'm not quite sure. Okay. The music is 100% as the title of the album implies. It is a murder ballad. There's lots of murder happening. It's a ballad of sorts, playing in a kind of dark, bar piano-esque kind of sound in here. The music almost takes a folk leaning, not in any way musically, but more so in its style of telling a tale, keeping the music rather consistent and for the most part unchanged, besides a few little things here and there, and really focusing on the story and the delivery from Cave, in which he definitely gives a passionate and character-driven delivery. Like, it actually feels disturbing, the way that he's singing and describing the murders and the riffing and the vocal riffing. I mean, in between some of the moments when he's just humming and muttering to himself in a very chaotic kind of way. So I will say that Cave gives a very stellar performance in lieu of the theme of the track. And the music behind is fine. I do like the moments where the music changes or he does something that really accentuates a certain moment in the story, in the song. Sometimes the piano would come up a little bit more forward. There's 2 moments in there where the piano plays something of a more melodic touch and a lighter touch in the music as well. Otherwise, the song doesn't really do much for me. And especially at 14 minutes long, it just kind of drags. And perhaps it's because maybe there's a few reasons. One, the music is unchanging, and I didn't care too much. Like, it wasn't like the music was amazing, so it didn't really, suck me in for 14 minutes of unchanged music. It was nice, but if there were changes around it, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. And also, I want to read really quick. I'm going to see if I can find other people's thoughts on this track. I want to see if I can find maybe, if I go to, YouTube and pull up the... or on Reddit or something. I'm curious about other people's thoughts on this track. Let me come here. Let's see. I'm on Reddit right now. Okay. Relatively new. The Stong Hemi's Stitches. Okay, Nick's always had a knack for writing great story lyrics. Many of his lyrics have a dark, twisted sense of humor. Some of Nick's best unhinged lyrics. Definitely, unhinged is a great way of describing it. That's for sure, I'd say. One of my favorites. I do like the line, "How can I be morally culpable if I have no free will?" Like he's like, the devil made me do it kind of thing, right? Hilarious lyrics. On one of the talk evenings, one guy said that he listens to this track every morning. Okay. I like to think the entire town had it coming. That song is very cinematic. Murder Ballads is the funniest album I've ever heard. It's a perfect Halloween album. It's not a serious album. There's a lot to it. A lot of people like... Now, I'm on Nick Cave's Reddit, subreddit, so, like, you know, little... a little biased, perhaps, in that regard. Let me just do I want to see what... listen, because a lot of people seem to like it, and I don't really care for it. So I like to see what other people like. Why? You know? Is it me or is it... Of course it's me, right? But at the same time, I just like to get... If I didn't like it, I like to get other people's opinions. I'm on YouTube now. Come on over. We making it out with a life sentence on this one. Total carnage. Storytelling masterpiece. Can't beat an Irish pub. Just beautiful no matter what. Love him. He's the best. It's a great horror song. No, for real. How can be multiple capable? My favorite album after Love. We like that. I like that album. Interesting. I don't know. I didn't care for it. I didn't. Yeah. But I like to see what, like, if other people like it, why? What's what's bringing you here? Never heard this song. Is the best. Fear me, the best. Super. I don't know. And I guess, okay, I'll admit, I will 100% admit, I guess the dark humor didn't land with me either, because it didn't seem humorous. It just seemed like he was murdering people. And yes, I understand that some of the descriptions were humorous in a way, but I felt like there wasn't really like a punchline to it, unless I 100% could have missed it. Now, does that make a difference in the way that I'm feeling about what I've heard? Not hugely, but it at least will help in understanding. And I think that's sometimes more important than just liking or not liking a song. Because I didn't care for this one. I didn't care for it. I guess that's all I got to say. I was trying to think of reasons, maybe research a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you know, if I didn't like it, I didn't like it, and that's 100% okay. I appreciate the exposure, though. I appreciate the recommendation. Thank you, Andreas, for the support. Thank you so much for the recommendation, like I said. Because, like I said, there's moments in here that are cool, but as a whole, it just doesn't connect with me. It just doesn't do anything for me. I guess, on like what I kind of said before, like, I'm very hugely appreciative of dark humor. It's nothing to do with that. I just didn't see, personally, I didn't see the humorous side in this. I just saw, like, senseless murder. Now, maybe the point of the track is to be somewhat senseless. We don't really get a backstory necessarily, so we're kind of left up in the air and left up to our own interpretation. You think there's anything on the Wikipedia about this one? Mally. The first song written for the album was O'Malley's Bar. Okay. And that's kind of it on here. Huh. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down there in the comments down. Let me know if you really like the song. Like, help me understand. I'm very open. Make me understand. Well, not make me. Like I said, you're probably not going to make me like the song. I can tell you I'm not going to listen to it, like, on my own time in a entertainment kind of way, as most people would listen to music, but perhaps you can make me appreciate it. Maybe you can help me understand it. Maybe I do understand it, and that's just where the chips crumble. I don't know if that's the phrase. Anyways, have a great rest of your day. I will see you all later. Bye, guys.